Hey, how you doing? So today I want to answer a question that I've gotten quite a bit of, and it is how do you really work with trying to figure out which is the right advice to listen to in the field of health and physical development? Because there are so many things out there that are counter, advice that is contradictory. So we get a lot of advice that is contradictory, and it's hard to figure out, well, which advice is the right advice. And you get all these concepts out there, and these concepts all have some sort of maybe some sort of logic to them. The concepts seem really nice. They're great, and hey, I should do that. I should go on that down that road due to this concept. But the problem is that how do I know if that advice is correct? And so, you're faced with these questions like, should I be eating vegan, paleo, keto, carnivore? Is strength training really superior to cardio? Are these supplements really helping? Am I getting enough sunlight? Is my mobility work doing what it's really supposed to do? And so guessing sucks. Guessing is really bad. Nobody wants to do it. And it's a lot of cognitive overload. We're already faced with so much of it in our busy lives that, you got to figure out, really what the correct thing is and, which way to go with it. And so, and this goes even for professionals. You hear one guy saying one thing, one lady saying another thing, you're like, oh, I like that person. I don't like that person. They make sense. They don't make sense. When the answer is that they probably all have a little bit to offer. But what to take, which is what to take and what to offer and what is offered from each person is really difficult at times. And so the answer to clear up all this ambiguity is really to go with a diagnostically based strategy, because who cares if the advice is good for everybody else? If it's not good for you, it's no good. So, using a diagnostically centered strategy uses a strong breadth and depth of knowledge and testing and assessment so that the details of how any physical strategy is affecting you, it's determined week by week, month by month, quarter by quarter, and year by year, because you're measuring what's happening as a result underneath the big things like weight loss. It's great to see weight loss, but you're measuring all this stuff that's happening underneath that. How are you moving forward? What are the mile markers that are moving that we can see along the road? And so any argument over advice, who's right and who's wrong, that's presented by two different professionals or practitioners that doesn't end with the answer, it depends. Um, the answer always has to say, it depends. It depends on this factor. It depends on how this is working for you as an individual. It depends on this. It depends on that. That's how every answer should start. And so if it doesn't start with that, then the professional really isn't thinking to their full critical thinking ability, unless it's an obvious answer to an obvious, kind of non ambiguous, but very ubiquitous sort of question. Don't eat strychnine. That would be something that anybody could say unambiguously that, don't do that. That's good advice. But and everything else, use testing, evaluation, and diagnostic tracking to see if it is working for you and if those mile markers are met all the way along the way. So thanks a lot. I hope this was of some value to you and that led you in a good direction. And if you want to look down our functional health road, then go ahead and sign up for the RootHealth Institute down below in the links in the description. Thanks a lot.